guys, and just like that, we're right back at you. Happy Monday and welcome to the Fox 5 Live Zone. I'm your host, Guy Lambert. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. Hey, coming up on the show, controversy. President Trump lashing out following the jobs report. We'll break it all down for you. Hey, moms, dads, you see that? The clock is ticking, the calendar. Yeah, it's really rolling. Kids about to go back to school. We'll talk about all things health related. And then according to a newly released study, apparently a lot of Gen Zers are no longer eating boxed cereal. Can you believe it? Yeah, Tucker Barnes over in the corner saying what? We love cereal and we love him as well as we bring him in to chit-chat all things weather right here on the
must-watch Fox Local right here.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
What was your favorite cereal, by the way?
I liked it all. My teeth didn't like any of it as I got older.
Yeah.
But you know, I could do it all.
Okay.
Corn Pops, the Fruit Loops.
All right.
Honey
Frosted
Crisp,
Flakes.
Frosted Flakes, yeah. You
All
know,
right.
once in a... I didn't eat the Wheaties or anything good for you, did you?
Oh my gosh, no, but I did eat what was those, mini frosted wheats or with
yeah.
the frosting on one
the
side?
mini frosted,
the little square things.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh,
Those things are
those
amazing.
Great.
I will say this though, just real quick. There's a lot of fiber in those. Don't eat like a whole box at once. Dude, I paid the price a couple times along the way.
Oh,
especially when you get older. When you're younger, you're just like, whatever. I feel a little bloated. When you get older, you're like, you learn.
Okay, you're gonna make me lose it, buddy. Let's do weather.
Another nice day. Just remember,
man.
Take yourself for a long walk if you're gonna eat a whole huge box of that cereal, because you will regret it.
Sure.
All right, your temperature is at the midday hour, 78 degrees. Another beautiful day. We got a few clouds have been reported. What a great weekend, though, right?
Yeah.
Weather-wise?
Oh my gosh, be a beauty.
Yeah, low humidity, and it's just, it's almost hard to believe it can be this nice in August, because we're also used to, kind of enduring 98 degrees and a heat index of 105 and that stuff. None of that today, none of that this week. We're going to keep temperatures below normal right through Friday. Today will be still a warm day, mid to upper 80s, call it mid 80s, 85, 86.
Okay.
Our average high is 89. We'll get if you look out to the west, there's a few high, thin clouds here for our afternoon hours, but there's no rain, no thunderstorm activity in sight, and we're going to keep it dry for the foreseeable future. So I think we're in really good shape, and just a nice quiet forecast here. We deserve it after weeks of rain and high heat and high humidity. 86 this afternoon. I do want to mention, by Wednesday, really let's call it by Thursday and Friday, maybe Wednesday night, we'll get a few showers, but really by Thursday and Friday, it looks like the shower chances are back and the humidity will creep back up. But again, low to mid 80s is just a great way to spend a week in DC in August.
Absolutely love it. It's been picture perfect. Matt, when you come tomorrow, Tucker, bring your tip jar. I got something for you, buddy.
Oh, there's not much room, but we'll see if we can make a little for you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Tucker Barnes, all things weather right here on the Live Zone. Guys, if you haven't already done so yet, make sure you download the Fox Local app and take that weather forecast with you on the go. Well, we start with a major update in a case haunting Montgomery County for more than a decade. Catherine Hoggle, mother of two missing children, has been re-indicted for murder and is expected in court today for a bond review hearing. Hoggle is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder in the disappearance of her children, Sarah and Jacob, who vanished back in 2014. Hoggle had told police she dropped them off, but investigators never found any evidence of that. Their bodies have never been found. She was charged with murder back in 2015, but those charges were dropped after she repeatedly found mentally incompetent to stand trial and confined to a psychiatric hospital. Then last month, she was quietly discharged. Days later, prosecutors moved fast to re-indict and re-arrest her. Hoggle's bond hearing is set for 1:30 this afternoon. The state's attorney says there will be a press conference after that court appearance. You can watch that on our YouTube channel. You can also watch our 10-year special on the Hoggle case on Fox Local and on the Fox 5 YouTube page as well. Well, developing out of the district, multiple overnight shootings. Last night, a man was shot and killed just after 11 p.m. in a parking garage on New Jersey Avenue in Northwest. Less than 2 hours before that incident, a man and a woman were shot on 4th Street Southeast. Both are expected to be okay. Around 2:30 this morning, there were reports of a shooting on 52nd Street in Northeast. D.C. police said to be investigating. Our Tisha Lewis will have more on the New Jersey Avenue shooting throughout the evening. Well, 40 states are now reporting an uptick in COVID cases ahead of one of the busiest travel months of the year. Among the states, Virginia and Maryland. There's also been an increase in COVID cases in D.C. So as you get set to hit the road or get your kids ready to return to school, what can you do right now to protect yourself? Joining us to talk about this, we welcome Dr. Jay Reddy, the Chief Science Officer of Overnight Infectious Disease Detection Laboratory, Health Track RX, joining us on the Live Zone. Sir, truly a pleasure to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's jump right into this. Can you tell us about the new strain of COVID that a lot of folks have actually come down with in our area?
There's actually two. We have Nimbus and Stratus that are both new variants that are increasing nationwide, including in DC. Nimbus is the highest. It's one out of every three cases. It's a new variant that is more transmissible than the last and more easily spread. So that's really what's increasing nationwide right now.
Well, Dr. Reddick, I would argue that so many folks would say COVID is gone. It's not a thing anymore. We're not dealing with it. However, the proof is in the pudding. The stats show it. The numbers are here.
Absolutely. Because we are in a situation where the disease is more mild than it was before, we tend to think that of COVID being gone. What it is now this is the new endemic season. We used to have flu or respiratory season really starting sometime in September or August. Now we're seeing it start in June, and COVID is the first thing to really kick it off. And because the disease is more mild than before, we tend to kind of ignore that it's being gone forever, since it's not as causing severe disease like it was in 2020 and early 2021.
Well, you just made mention of the new strain, and I'm hoping you can elaborate as to how it is different from all the previous strains we've seen.
Well, first of all, because it is a variant, it has mutated since last year, and this year's variant is more transmissible, which means it's just simply it's easier to be spread person to person. Secondarily, we're seeing new symptoms. While you still see fever and GI symptoms as a predominant symptom of COVID, you're also seeing what they call razor blade COVID, which is severe severe soreness at the throat, which can be very uncomfortable for patients, obviously. And we're seeing, because of this transmission, 40 states in a matter of 2 weeks now have very high rates of COVID, and we're going to continue to see that increase over the coming months.
So what should we think about with regard to slowing this down? Should we revert back to what we've done in the past? Obviously, wash our hands, perhaps even wear a mask at this point?
The only ways really to slow it down are basic hygiene. Washing your hands everywhere you go, making sure if you are at a high risk group, wearing a mask if you're on a plane in indoor areas. So that really is the only way to prevent spread. There's really no effective way beyond basic cleanliness and hygiene to prevent the spread of COVID.
Dr. Reddick, I have had, to my knowledge, COVID twice. The first time, not too bad. The second time, dear God, I thought I was going to die. I could barely walk. It was body completely aching. Do we know any of the symptoms associated with this potential strain that's now making itself known right here in our area?
Very similar to the other strains. It could be somewhere of just general fatigue. It could be a very sore throat. It could be some more severe, like a high-grade fever or even pneumonia. The problem with this is because they're variants, this is going to be a new response of your immune system every single time. So just because the first 2 or 3 times you got COVID, you might have a completely different experience with this variant. And you really won't know until you get the disease, which is not a great answer, but that is reality.
Yeah, well, I hate to say this, but should we be concerned? Is this something that we should really, call mom, dad, and everyone else to say, you know what, we really need to look out for this?
Concern is a good way to put it. What I would be is vigilant. For the high risk groups, the people who have comorbidities, diabetes, they're older, this is something that you go talk to your healthcare physician about whether the vaccine is right for you. It's also concerning that this is increasing now right before everyone's going back to school. So this is the perfect population in the kids to go back, get it from their friends, come home, and spread it within the family. So I would be concerned from the fact that we're going to continue to see a rise in COVID. It is going to be explosive because kids are going back to school, and that is where the disease is going to kind of spread from there. But really, what we are seeing is this is generally more mild than previous COVID. But this is, for high-risk groups, something that they should be concerned about.
Yet again, important and vital information from Mr. Jay Reddy, Dr. Reddy at that, the Chief Science Officer of Overnight Infectious Disease Detection Laboratory, Health Track RX, kind enough to join us on the Live Zone. Sir, truly appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Have a great week.
You bet. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. So if you haven't heard, let me be the first to tell you. We are all things Commanders. Yes, Commanders Central right here on Fox 5, specifically the Fox Local app. We've been running training camp specials last week, this week, and well, I got to tell you, it's truly something to see. Of course, the big story still happens to surround Terry McLaurin. Will he play for the Commanders? Won't he? Well, head coach Dan Quinn got a chance to address just that earlier today.
Spitting chick, you're running by with the U.S. Track and Field Championships underway. No one's going to mistake you. It's awesome. I'm excited for today. We got another install for us, and then last practice here. And then we'll go head up to Massachusetts, for our practice with the Patriots on Wednesday, game Friday. But I am excited for today. A lot of situations at the end again, some 2-minute at the half, and that's what we've been hitting on and digging in hard. Coming off the Players' Day off, we're still kind of coordinating who will be available for practices Wednesday and then into the game on Friday. So I thought I'll give you that list before we meet at practice up at Foxborough. So let's get through today. Adam and I will kind of organize that tonight, but I'm glad to share that with you on Wednesday morning. So all that said, let's get rocking.
Well, can I ask about one player? Brandon Coleman had to, take left the field the other day. How is he? Will he be out there today? Or?
Brandon will be out for today, and then we'll see what it looks like for this trip to go. So, if he's able to make it for Wednesday's practice, heading into New England.
What has jumped out to you about the defense through camp so far?
I think Joe's trying to emphasize different things on different days. I like that we've, pushed ourselves on man-to-mans to see in the spring. You naturally do more zone. There's no contact. You're just trying to do the best you can. So you emphasize different things in different parts of the year. But I like the communication that I'm hearing from them. I like the rotation and utilizing the big guys in different ways. But we're got a long way to go in terms of how we want to get the ball. We got a long way to go in tackling. But I like that Joe's really mixed in a lot of man-to-mans.
Do you feel that because of who you have at corner now this year that you can play more of that effectively, and what's the impact of that?
That's the goal, to test, and find out where you're at, what you can do. And so now that we are getting into more of that, it's good. Now what's matchups, and we'll do some of that this weekend again. So I'm looking forward to, heading up to New England. I've known Mike for a long time, so I'm looking forward to getting up there and working with those guys too.
And in the travel, look, these rookies have traveled throughout their college careers, but this is a different level.
Yeah.
It's a different experience. How do you counsel them? Do you say anything to them as they prep for their first time with an NFL squad?
Yeah. One, it's awesome to take the team away. It's a little bit different environment, because hotel at home and hotel on the road, it is different. And so I like the teams being together. Chick, I think there's things to gain with that. As far as the game goes, it's awesome. It will be eventually their first NFL game. They've been thinking about doing that forever. My message is they've already been doing that at practice, playing against other NFL players at that spot. But it's still a start and something that is a cool day for them to begin.
Dan, in terms of the joint practice, are there, what are for the line play? Obviously, you can only do so much except when the pads are on a little bit. What are for the line play both sides? Are you kind of most looking forward to seeing once you guys get that joint practice going?
One of the things, Ben, that I like is the different style of player. When you're here, I have a sense what he's like. I have a sense what the next person's like. So a different defensive front, how they align would be different than how we do. Different style of player, somebody you haven't gone against. So.
Once again, head coach Dan Quinn on all things Commanders, and as we stated earlier, we are Commanders Central. If you haven't already known, well, you're finding out just now. Tell a friend, bring a friend, and you'll get a chance to see all the Commanders yet again right here on the Fox Local app. All right, guys, going to take it over to Fairfax County, where a lot of things are happening there as well. And when it comes to Fairfax County, that guy, yeah, he's all knowing. I'm talking about Vernon Miles with Fairfax Now, joining us on the Live Zone. Happy Monday, my friend. Good to see you.
Hey, first time anybody's ever accused me of being all-knowing, so I'll take it.
Well, you do it oh so well, Vernon. In this case, we're going to get it started off we're talking about rents. And I got to tell you, I rent in Washington, D.C. Oh, my gosh, it is so pricey. But apparently, well, let's just say Fairfax, not too far behind.
Yeah, rents are continuing to increase in Fairfax County, particularly around the Tysons area. This, as we noted, goes against a national trend. I even had my mom over the weekend telling me it's time to buy a house or to get a cheaper apartment, and I'm like, no, the rents are still going up here, despite all the national market stuff. So this is definitely it goes against the national trend, but I think it still speaks to the high demand that we see in this area and the need for more apartment construction.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Vernon, but this in essence was spearheaded by the Tysons Corner area. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. The Tysons area is definitely the main driving force in that. You've seen it all across Fairfax, there's been some, but even compared to Arlington, which is the only place in the area where rents did go down on apartments, Tysons is really kind of spearheading that increase. Like I said, I think it speaks to the fact there's still a lot of job demand around there, even for industries that are not federally government related.
Yeah, bottom line, it is pricey to live right here in the DMV, specifically when it comes to renting. Hey, let's move on to the mental health clinic that's opening in Fair Oaks. And I'm bringing it up because later on, we're going to speak with a health expert about all things surrounding mental health. In this case, being outdoors will help, well, in essence, make sure that you're A-OK in the realm of mental health. However, this new health clinic in Fair Oaks is offering alternative treatments. Do tell.
Okay, so we cover new businesses that come up in the area. That is not necessarily an endorsement of what those businesses sell. And for this one, not going to trash talk a local business or anything, but be very careful when you look at mental health treatments and stuff around here. This is promising like magnetic therapy, which is, electroshock adjacent kind of stuff. This is all stuff where, it's a new offering. It's a new opportunity for people in the area who are looking for that. But I would urge anybody looking for treatment just to be very careful, check reviews and stuff like that. But this is a new option that's opening in the Fair Oaks area.
All right, you put that very well. Very studious of you, Vernon, with regard to how you frame that. Okay, so we do this each and every week, and that is you all do these amazing polls. In this case, this poll happens to surround none other than the best Thai restaurant in Fairfax County. And before you tell me, I got to tell you, I am all things Thai restaurants. I absolutely love that food.
Oh, absolutely. Some of these, I didn't have a dog in those fights because it was stuff that I, as a vegan, can't usually eat it. But this one, Thai restaurants love Thai food. And Tiki Thai came out on top in Fairfax County. But there's a lot of good options. This was pretty close as we were seeing in there. Sisters Thai, another one of my favorites, was also number 3 in those rankings. So, yeah, lots of good Thai restaurants around Fairfax. Be sure to check that one out.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to have to put it down on the list. Vernon, I tell you what, I'll show up if it's on you.
Oh, absolutely. I also make some great Thai, so you got to come hang out sometime. I'll make you some pad Thai with some homemade tofu. Ooh, it'll be so good.
No doubt. Vernon Miles, all things Fairfax Now, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Truly appreciate your time, my man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. Well, if you haven't heard, let me be the first to tell you. Season 2 of the viral No Holds Barred TV show, Truth Talks, is back. Bigger, bolder, and more unfiltered than ever. It's produced by Emmy Award-winning Point 7 Entertainment, and the unapologetic series returns to, well, let's just say disrupt the echo chamber with new hosts, one of which happens to join us right now. I'm referring to the one and only Dr. Cheyenne Bryant right here on the Live Zone. Dr. Bryant, truly appreciate you being patient, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk about True Talks.
I got to tell you, I love this. So do tell, the floor is yours.
Listen, we are a voice that covers everything from pop culture to politics to world news. And what I love is what we do best. We do it from a very unmonolithic Black voice. And, as most of us know, that the Black voice has definitely been attempted to be silenced when it comes to media. And we're making sure that that doesn't happen. And so we have many, folks such as Ebony K. Williams, Judge Lauren Lake, D. Hale Hoogley, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who are coming with a very different representation of what it is to be Black in politics, what it is to be Black in pop culture. And, we're allowing every one of our viewers to say, yo, I see myself in her, I see myself in him, and that represents me. And we also allow our viewers to say, yo, I don't see myself in any of them, but this is my experience of how I represent being Black. And True Talks brings that. And we love the engagement. And we love that we are in season 2 because we did so well in season 1. And we're on YouTube Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I absolutely love this. By the way, I happen to, D.O. Hughley is a good friend of mine. I was on his podcast for years. And so when I saw that he happened to be on your show, I'm like, wow, how cool is that? That's a real star right there, along with you.
Yeah.
So
I said he's on our show. I didn't say he was a good friend of mine. I'm just playing. I love D.L. I love D.L.
Now watch it. You know he's quick to fire back.
Yeah.
Dr. Bryant, can you speak to the importance of making sure that African Americans really have a voice with regard to the political climate right now?
Absolutely. As I'm president of NAACP here in Los Angeles, and so for 12 years, I've been advocating and fighting to make sure that a marginalized community that is full of disparity does have a voice. And for those that don't have a voice, to have representation. And that's what we do on True Talks. We make sure that we are the voice and the advocacy for the folks who don't get an opportunity to say, hey, listen to me. Hey, see me. We are being heard and seen, not just for ourselves as a show for True Talks, but for the folks that we represent. I say every person, whether you have a title or not, you're in a leadership position and you have the responsibility as a human, right? Just to make sure that human rights are something that are in place, but as a Black individual, to make sure that you are representing every single Black person within your community. And True Talks does that really, really well. If the Black voice dies, then guess what? We're not seen, we're not heard, and we don't get the resources we need in our communities. And that means that our community can't advance, our neighborhoods can't advance, and we don't have community. Community is about communing. And it does take more than just the folks who have titles and are in leadership roles that look like us. It takes people like us on True Talks to say, hey, listen, we have the floor. We're going to be heard. We're going to do it unapologetically. We're going to do it raw. And this is what it is to be Black. These are the things that we need. These are the resources that are lacking. And then also, these are things that we're doing that need to be celebrated as Black people. We got to celebrate ourselves as well, not just talk about the disparities that we have.
Yeah. But you know what? Is it fair for me to dub it infotainment? And what I mean by that is that you all are very informative, but it's entertaining as well.
100%. Oh gosh, yeah, we are extremely informative. But you see a lot of times, myself, I'm very raw, I'm very unapologetic, just beyond in general. And so you see us have a lot of really good, healthy debates. We go at it. We have a lot of we have conservative perspectives. We have a lot of far dim perspective. We got folks who are like, forget all that, we're liberal. And so it is extremely entertaining. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of camaraderie. You get to see True Talks really act as, I call, like a Black family who's in a spades game or a domino game at the barbecue, and we're dominoing down, or we're spading down on our opinions. But at the end of the day, we show a lot of love, a lot of respect for each other. And sometimes things get extremely, extremely, extremely heated. And that's okay, because it is healthy to have these dialogues. People need to see, Black folks having these perception exchanges and just having a very respectful understanding of that's their perspective, this is my perspective, and we can disagree on these and still love each other and still have a great show and give great information.
Yeah, it's all about showing the love, in this case being entertained as well, and that's exactly what you all do. It's dubbed Truth Talks. You get a chance to check it out. You see it right there on your TV screen. Folks that want to find out more information, Dr. Bryant, how would one go about to do so?
Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, True Talks channel, and listen, you can even binge watch all 65 episodes of season 1. We were the #1 show on Fox. So, and so we are now on our own channel on YouTube. It's True Talks, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Google us. Go to our social media page at True Talks Lives. Go to Dr. Bryant's social media page, and you'll see True Talks clips everywhere, me firing off, coming straight from the hip. You'll see my co-host doing the same. And so we hope that we not only see you view us, but we want you in the chat. We love to hear our viewers' opinions and their perceptions on what we're talking about. Sometimes they agree, and sometimes they just don't. And we're okay with either way.
Absolutely love it. Truly appreciate your time. Yet again, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, one of the co-hosts of Truth Talks. We'll chat with you soon.
Thanks
Good luck.
for having me on.
No
Thank
doubt.
you so much, y'all. Tune in.
No doubt. All right, guys. Just real quick, if it's happening now, and it's, well, actually happening, we're taking you there. In this case, you're taking a live look at, I believe, at Fairfax County. We are expecting, with regard to an update surrounding a cold case, this dating back to 1972. Fairfax County Police have identified a child in a 1972 cold case. We saw some activity just a minute ago. We are expecting that press conference to get underway within the next 30 minutes or so, and when that happens, we'll take you there live, right here on the Live Zone. We'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, the latest surrounding the chaos unfolding in Gaza. Harley Lipton joins us next on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, we are going to take you down to a live press conference yet again in Fairfax County with police now identifying a child in a 1972 cold case. Let's take a look in.
Speaking today will be Chief Kevin Davis and Assistant Chief of Investigations, Brooke Wright. Chief?
Thank you, Katie, and good afternoon. Our excitement is always tempered by a sad circumstance that took the life of a little boy in 1972, some 53 years ago. So while we have news to share, it still really touches the Bryant family in particular, and they're here today. They join us as well. So it's a somber set of circumstances that we are proud to share with you, because it wasn't too long ago in policing when the investigation of a cold case was doing neighborhood canvasses and knocking on doors and re-interviewing family members, re-interviewing witnesses, an occasional deathbed confession. And all those pieces of police work are still alive and well in our profession, but now we knock on the door of genetic genealogy. And we've stood in this room on several occasions over the last few years and have been able to announce that we've identified a homicide victim, we've identified a perpetrator, and today we're going to share with you a series of events that began in 1972 that have led us here today to finally, 53 years later, identify the homicide victim in 1972. And we're also going to share with you some information about a person that we want to learn a whole lot more about, because we know he was involved in that sad day in 1972. A few thank yous, and then I'll turn it over to Chief Wright. She's going to walk us through this investigation all the way back to 1972. I want to personally thank our major crimes bureaus, particularly Cold Case Squad, Victim Services Division, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children right here in Northern Virginia. They did an early sketch for this case, and they've offered their support all along the way. Innovative Forensic Investigations for their genealogy breakthrough that you're going to hear about today, and they are with us as well. The Philadelphia Police Department, Detective Hesser, Detective Benson, two veteran homicide detectives from the Philadelphia Police Department who made a trip down here just to be part of this announcement, and thank them for their work. Astria Forensics, the DNA, and you're going to hear more about the DNA from the hair and the jawbone that helped us break through with this case. The Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office and District Attorney's Office, they assisted with exhuming the exhumation process that we recently undertook. Office of the District Attorney, City of Philadelphia for their coordination. George Mason University for their overall forensic coordination, the FBI for their long-term support in this case, Greenmount Cemetery, Jones Funeral Home, Coleman Cemetery, but most importantly, the Bryant family is here today, and they're going to be available for a question or two. A family representative will be, and that'll be kind of at the end, but we can't thank them enough for still being part of this effort and this announcement today. So I will turn it over to Chief Wright, and she will walk you through the details.
Thank you, Chief. After more than 50 years, the cold case detectives have identified the murdered boy that was found in Lorton in 1972 as 4-year-old Carl Matthew Bryant, born May 26, 1968. On June 13, 1972, a boy was riding his bike home from school in the Lorton area, and he saw a body below the bridge, the old Colchester Bridge in Lorton. He raced home, told his mother. She called police, and detectives responded out to find a child who was unidentified. They didn't have any missing children reports to match up to who this child might be. He was unclothed, and it was ruled that he had died as a result of a blunt force trauma, so it was ruled a homicide. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children have received more tips on this case than any other case in the state of Virginia, because in 2003 they used a computer-generated sketch to try to determine the identity of this little boy. It's the image you see on the screen now. He still was not identified. Fortunately, one of the original case detectives had had claimed some of the hair during his autopsy, and in 2004, the FBI was able to extract some DNA from that hair. Still, though, there was no match found. Recently, a company called Astri was able to assist and help through genetic genealogy, and Carl was determined to be the son of Vera Bryant. Vera Bryant was a woman who lived in Philadelphia in 1972. Relatives knew that she had traveled by car with her boyfriend James Hedgepeth, her son Carl, and her 6-month-old son James Bryant. They were traveling on that day in June from Philadelphia down to Middlesex County, Virginia. When the couple arrived in Middlesex County, Virginia, they met with James Hedgepeth's family. The couple did not have children with them. Vera visited her relatives that Thanksgiving in 1972. She did not have children with her at Thanksgiving that year. She explained that her children were with James's family in Virginia. Both Vera and James Hedgepeth are now deceased. Vera passed away in Pennsylvania in 1980. Hedgepeth died later. Vera's DNA was extracted from her remains and matched as the mother of Carl Matthew Bryant. Based on the fact that the couple left with children and arrived without them, they never made a report of any kids being missing. We believe that both boys may have been murdered on June 13, 1972, between Pennsylvania and Virginia. We believe this is the route they may have traveled. And the baby may have been discarded along the route also, but he has not ever been located. The area in Lorton was searched for several days. Detectives put a lot of work into the case, but they never found any other persons. And at that time, they also didn't know that they were looking for another child. We know that Hedgepeth had been convicted of murder in 1962. He had served time in prison for that murder, and he met Vera after that time in prison. He was not the father of either of the boys. We spotlight this case to finally recognize Carl Matthew Bryant's identity. And we ask for the public's help in filling in the missing information. Perhaps somebody witnessed something along that route that day, or maybe Vera or James confided in someone before they had died. Maybe another jurisdiction had recovered a 6-month-old baby's remains and didn't have any way to tie it to this case, as we didn't know that there would be any relation to this case. And as you know, in 1972, as compared to 2025, how we communicate amongst law enforcement has vastly improved. So we hope to know what happened to baby James, who was born in January of 1972. If anyone has information or you believe you can help us, we ask that you call our Major Crimes Bureau at 703-246-7800, option 2, or call our Crime Solvers line at 1-866-411-8477. You can remain anonymous. As the chief said, we had a long list of partners who were instrumental in helping us get this case to the point we're at today. I'd also like to acknowledge the family members of Carl Matthew, James, and Vera Bryant. The Coleman Cemetery in Alexandria area of Fairfax County, they laid Carl to rest in a proper burial when he remained unidentified. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Detective Corporal Dan Mustaine, crime scene officers Miller and Boatwright, who back in 1972 had the forethought to collect Carl's hair, which ultimately was the key to allowing science to identify him in 2025. And with that, we'll take any of your questions. Chief, didn't you mention someone in particular you want to talk to?
So the boyfriend is now deceased. He died several years ago. We'd like to talk to people who knew a little bit about him. He was the one who served time in prison in the sentence, I think, in 1962. Got out, became involved in a relationship with the mom. He did not father the 2 children. But in the event that he shared any information with family or friends since 1972, even though he's now deceased, we'd like to know about that. And we think there's every possibility that probably took place. And our plea is for people to come forward, even if they think they know him, but they're not sure what information about him would be helpful. Call us anyway, and we'd love to talk to you.
And talk about the importance of those details, both to your department and to the family.
Well, it's important to get details on someone. Oftentimes, the weight of committing a murder, and we've seen it in Fairfax County. We've stood in this room and announced cold case closures just because the weight of carrying that worst thing you can possibly do to another person often results in sharing that information with others. So in order to bring the Bryant family, and they're here with us today, an additional level of closure, if that's even the right word, a different level of clarity, we suspect that there are folks out there who know a little bit more about him. And, 1972 was a long time ago. Most of this room wasn't alive in 1972, but people have a funny way of remembering details when someone shares with them similar information.
Just want to be clear, in the email you sent yesterday, you said the board was 5, and you're saying 4. I just want to make sure that which is correct.
His correct age was 4. He had just turned 4 May 26th.
Okay, just a couple also points of clarification. We knew about the brother as well, about James.
We did not know about James until Carl was identified. After Carl was identified, the detectives talked to Carl Bryant's family members who also reported that Vera had a second son, 6 months old. He had been born in January of that year.
So fair to say you're asking, as you said, for help from the public for both.
Correct.
Where this infant could have been.
Correct.
Speak a little generally also, Chief, I know you talked about it, about how the lines of communication were different with interagencies. Just how hard is this to find, tidbits of information from 53 years ago? I mean, I know the genetic testing matches everything up, but how difficult is it to get a wisp of something from someone?
Right, and our cold case detectives could probably speak on this a lot more than the chief and I, because they are really digging into these old cases. But, they even verified, like a teletype was sent back in 1972 asking other agencies if they had any missing little boys, 4 to 5 years old. A lot of agencies answered up because they did have, on the East Coast, did have missing children, unfortunately, at that time, none of whom matched, Carl Bryant. So the teletype went out to ask about this child who we had found, but there was no way to know that we were looking for another, like I said, another child, another link to this case, that it was someone who hadn't even lived in Fairfax County, just traveling through. There was a lot of work done by detectives at the time, a lot of door knocking, a lot of walking, a lot of searching. We've come so far in law enforcement that technology has allowed us to do so much more. But even our ways of communicating with each other, even since 9/11, are so much better than they were back then. So it's a lot of pieces to put together and a lot of different areas to try to tie together, and different family members who weren't necessarily related to track down. But our detectives were able to eventually get, with all the assistance we had with our partners, get to that point.
Chief, pardon me if I missed this. Do we know anything about the father of these children, and did they share the same father?
That's not known to us, I don't believe. You want to?
We do. So we do not know the father. Sorry. We do not know who the father of Carl is, and there is a father listed on James's birth certificate. I won't be releasing his name, but the children did not have the same father.
And did the family members afterwards? You could understand what they're saying with his, the gentleman's family. But what about 5 years later? You would think, well, did they ask her, where are the kids? Do you know anything?
They didn't even know she was back in Philadelphia. Their last knowledge was that she was down with his family in Middlesex, so they didn't even know to ask about the kids because Vera didn't let them know that she was back. So that family tie had been broken at that point. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. Chief, you had mentioned that either one of these campers, were they the ones that kept the hair by chance?
I was not born in 1972, so no, I did not keep the hair. No, the hair was collected at the autopsy in 1972. It was maintained in the case file, and so when we got involved in 2021, the hair was still there, and we were able to send it.
No offense, sorry. But to know that from a piece of hair that you could solve a cold case like this, how do you react to something like that, just the modern technology?
It was surprising because when we got the hair, when we opened the package, it was literally little specks, like razor stubble. And so the lab, Estrella in California, had said that normally they require at least 2 centimeters of hair to do testing. And I said, well, I don't know if I even have 2 millimeters of hair to send you. And they said, well, send it anyway. We'll see what we can do. And they were able to develop a profile. So it was a pleasant surprise. Julie?
Has this lab been used before by your cold case?
Not by us. This was the first time.
So they seem, from this description, to really specialize in hair.
And
why you turned to them as
So I believe NCMEC was the one who put us in touch with them because there was a grant at the time, so we were able to do that testing for free, and the information was that they were good with rootless hair, and so we did send it to them.
You say that the FBI identified the DNA in 2004, and it was a cold case that the detectives that got dig back into the case in 2021. I mean, how did that come back into the arms of the raid?
Cold case, our detectives have been involved with this case the whole time. It just in 2004, when it went into the National Missing Persons Database, there was no match. I can't remember, I want to say 2016-ish, they tried to get more DNA, so we thought to try to exhume Carl's body from Coleman Cemetery in Alexandria, but unfortunately his tombstone had been washed away from the derecho that happened in 2012, so the detectives, the cold case detectives at the time, were not able to exhume him to get better DNA, and so the case got kind of stuck at that point until 2021 when we sent the hair to Estrella. Probably. I'm sure it's in the case file.
The other thing more pertaining to the case, the murders. You're not ruling out that it could have happened in Fairfax County. You don't know where these boys were killed, is what you're saying, just somewhere between, like it could have been here?
Absolutely, it could have been in Fairfax County.
Following that up, from the autopsy when the child was found, how long before that? Have they been able to determine how long before the body was found that the child had been killed?
Approximately 6 hours.
Anybody else?
Do we know anything more about the rest of Vera's life? Did she have more children?
She did not.
And she's continued to live until the rest of her life?
Until 1980 when she died. As far as we know. Like I said, that family relationship was fractured.
Good. So lots of twists and turns, and it's hard to follow at first glance. And I won't soon not remind Detective Wallace that she was accused of being alive in 1972. I was alive, but the question wasn't to me. Teletypes, old school. We opened it up with talking about the tried and true traditions of cold case investigations. And there's several detectives in this room, current, retired, who have done that hard work. And you still knock on doors. You still talk to family members. You still talk to potential witnesses and, an occasional deathbed confession. But now with this science, the genetic genealogy, we're able to bring closure far more often than we ever have. And we're proud to lead the way in Fairfax County and to partner with such great organizations that do this unbelievable, important work. It's a testimony to the perseverance of the profession, the detectives, and the world of science that now has a stronger role now, greater than ever before, with these types of complex investigations. Well, I'll let the Detective Wallace, come on back up. They pour their heart and souls into these investigations, and when they pick up a cold case, and they're literally starting from scratch, and their process, I won't speak for them, is to really kind of go back in time when there are such things as teletypes, and kudos to the crime scene detective that Chief Wright mentioned. Why he collected hair back in 1972, he certainly wasn't forecasting, believe that science would be available down the road, but maybe it was just the hair color. Who knows why he did it, but thank God he did do it. So the closure, I'll let Detective Wallace speak to that a little bit.
This case was always important to me. I've only been involved in it for 4.5 years, but I have my own son, and I think most of us are parents here, and to see the extent of that boy's injuries and what he had suffered through, I'm happy to be here today announcing that at least we've identified him. He can have his name. We can get him his name back on his gravestone, and the family can have some semblance of closure or resolution moving forward.
Question on that, Melissa, about the gravestone, because in the storm, things were lost. What is the plan for that?
So I don't think that same Christian group is still in place, but we have talked with our victim services section. We know the general area of where he is in the cemetery, so we had talked about getting possibly like a bench with his name engraved to be able to put it in the general area of where we know he is.
All right, thank you.
Anyone from the Bryant family?
Yeah, I
realize it's difficult.
Their presence here is meaningful, and we can't thank them enough for making the trip today. You all made the trip. Philadelphia PD made the trip because it's important to a lot of people. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it was a case of whodunit. That remains to be unknown. What is known is that police have now identified the victim of a murder some 50 years ago. Back in 1972, a body was discovered, the body of a child. Police have now identified that body, that person, if you will, thanks to great police work and technology, modern-day technology, DNA evidence, as 4-year-old Carl Matthew Bryant. Police are now asking that perhaps any of you watching right now, if you happen to know the Bryant family, to come forward to provide more information so they can truly bring closure to yet again this case that has haunted police and family members for some 50 years. One of the many things we'll keep a close eye on throughout the afternoon right here on the Live Zone. Well, securing a child's academic success begins with choosing the right schools, but how can parents decide where to enroll their kids? Because children develop and learn at different rates. Well, the answer that question varies based upon each student's needs, which leads me to this: the states with the best and worst school systems. That leads me to this guy, Chip Lupo with Wallet Hub, joining us right now on the Live Zone. Chip, truly appreciate you being patient, and welcome to the show, my friend.
My pleasure, Guy. Always good to be with you.
All right, we wanted to talk about this because, yep, school is right around the corner. Gosh, I remember this time of the year. The kiddos getting ready. They're getting their school gear ready, their clothes, their sneakers, their haircuts, their books. I can go on and on. But what really matters is where they are attending school, in this case, the opportunity to get a great education. I'm hoping you could break it down for us, Chip. I see right here that, well, numero uno goes to the state of Massachusetts.
Correct, Guy. Let me ask you a question first, though. This is back to school season. When traditionally did you go back to school? Because here in South Carolina, they're starting back today.
Yeah, you know what, Chip? It's really interesting. A buddy of mine, he has a daughter in Atlanta. They started today as well. For us, it was the Tuesday after Labor Day. That's
after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And we got out around middle of June, not like the middle of May.
My, how times have changed.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, guys, so let's jump into this. Massachusetts was number 1 overall, followed by Connecticut, New Jersey, and your home state of Virginia at 4, and New Hampshire at 5.
Chip, one of the interesting things about this, and I know you're not done yet, but I'm so perplexed because, correct me if I'm wrong, but a year or two ago, didn't numero uno happen to go to the state of Maryland?
It did. Maryland, I'm not sure if they were at the top, but they were very close. So they did take quite a tumble there because they are now they're still in the top 10 at 9th overall, and primarily because the Montgomery County school system, very strong, one of the best in the country, is anchoring that. But it seems like statewide there are some issues in Maryland. Kind of dropped off in quality. 40th in math test scores for 4th and 8th graders, 37th in reading test scores, 50th in the student teacher ratio,
Mm.
and dead last in the share of high school students who completed the SAT or the ACT.
Yeah. All right. Well, we obviously have to reflect on the nation's capital as well, which I'm so glad that you all incorporated within this study. That rank came in at number 24.
Yeah, Washington D.C. is right there in the middle, above average in some areas and below average in some. I noticed that they did have the second lowest student teacher ratio at just over 11 students per teacher. High share of students finishing with a 3 or higher on the AP test. You know, it's a score of 3 to 5, so 3 gives you some college credit. Fifth in the number of blue ribbon schools per capita. But then it kind of drops off in some areas. 47th in the dropout rate, 49th in math test scores, 46th in reading test scores, and 47th in the share of licensed and certified teachers.
Yeah. Well, but Chip, as we wrap up with regard to this particular segment, correct me if I'm wrong, but D.C. used to be at the bottom of the list, were they not?
They used to be at the very bottom of the list.
So they've
but
made progress.
They've made some progress, and it seems, and I don't know if there's a correlation between Maryland dropping off somewhat and D.C. making some inroads into improving their school system. Maybe there's a correlation there.
All right. Well, we got time for one more. In this case, I want to talk about what parents are really thinking about, and that is, yeah, you got to buy the school kids some school clothes, some supplies, and all the other good stuff that surrounds it. So you all did a study, and it surrounds sales tax holidays offering back-to-school savings. Now, Chip, I think, and if I read correctly, Virginia just wrapped up.
Virginia just wrapped theirs up. It's interesting, Guy, because back-to-school shopping now has become like the summertime Black Friday. Retailers are looking at this as a way to raise their, to better their bottom lines. And what it is that on a set weekend, you can go in, and all states are different in what qualifies for tax exemption. Virginia did just wrap theirs up this weekend, as we did here in South Carolina. And in Virginia, it would save you a little over 5% on sales tax on clothing and school supplies, but with limits. $100 on clothing, school supplies $20. I'm not sure how you would police those limits, maybe just per visit, I would assume. But you can get some pretty good deals just off of that.
All right, well, let's talk about Maryland while we can.
Yeah, Maryland is coming up August 9th through the 15th, which is rare. That's an entire week. Most of these sales are usually extended over a weekend, so you have a huge time frame there to save on clothing and footwear, up to $100, and backpacks, $40. That'll save you 6%. Now, again, some states include things such as electronics and footwear. But in Maryland, it's clothing, footwear, $100, backpacks, $40, August 9th through 15th.
All right.
And Washington, D.C. does not have a sales tax holiday, which was interesting because I noticed that most of your high tax states, California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania among them, that do not have one of these sales tax weekends.
Yeah, so it appears as though that many folks are now going to be flocking to the amazing state of Maryland in order to make sure
that's the strategy. That's a strategy. If you're in a state that doesn't offer one, cross the state line and save you some money.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself, Mr. Chip Lupo, of course, joining us from Wallet Hub. Truly appreciate your time and being patient, Chip.
My pleasure, Guy. Talk to you again soon.
No doubt. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, Autumn Joy joins us next. It's our Monday Talkers coming up right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone on a Monday. Looky who's back.
Well, hello, Guy Lambert.
Autumn Joy, Fox 5 contributor, back here on the LZ. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Found me wandering around in the hallway and saved me. Thank you.
I was like, Autumn, please come.
Please
come
help me.
here.
Help me, sir.
We love having you on
Thank
our
you. I love
Monday
being
Talkers.
here.
So, as a kid, did you indulge in cereal?
Oh, absolutely. I still indulge in cereal.
Really?
Oh, my gosh,
Okay,
yes.
your favorite cereal?
Okay, I'm an older lady now, so I do like granola with like bananas. I'm like that girl. But back in the day, it was like Frosted Flakes,
Oh, gosh.
Fruit Loops,
Love
all
it.
of the things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Crunch for me. My favorite happened to be Raisin Bran, and then I would take, I'm a little weird with it. I would take the milk, pour it in the cereal, pour it out, because I don't like soggy cereal.
Yeah.
And then put a ton of sugar.
Oh my God! Ew, Guy.
Diabetes waiting to happen, I'm telling you. Well, in this case, it shows that we're not a part of the Gen Z era, if you will, because apparently Gen Z now ditching boxed cereals at breakfast.
Oh, wow.
As one Gen Zer put it, you couldn't pay me to eat them.
Really?
Apparently, cereal sales in the U.S. dropped over 13% from nearly 2.5 billion boxes in 2021 to 2.1 billion. A lot of Gen Zers instead, they're choosing eggs, fruit, toast, and pancakes ahead of cereal.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, a lot healthier.
Yeah, I'm here for the healthier options, but I feel like I probably contribute to some of the billion that people that are, because my son, my 13-year-old, he loves cereal still.
Really?
Oh yeah, he will crush a whole box within the first like 2 days.
Yeah.
But I am trying to cut back on that, so I get why they're doing that. So I try to do more eggs and maybe some sausage
Sure.
and some bacon, if you will. But I get it, because they say sugar is packed with sugars and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. So I understand why they're doing it, but you guys are missing out.
Oh my gosh, all those. Well, yeah, it's really unhealthy. But people eat something unhealthy. Yeah, you're truly missing out. I'm also thinking in this era or during this time, a lot of folks have the ability to work from home, and so you have more time, in essence, to prepare your breakfast versus just hurry up, sitting down, shoving cereal down your throat and then hitting the bus stop. If you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're missing out on the prizes inside the box.
Oh, gosh.
That used to be our thing.
Oh,
like
wow.
there was 5 of us growing up, so whoever got to the box first got the prize. So that was like, reading the back of the box, all of the stuff that they're missing out on. But I get it; it's healthier.
Yeah. So if you want to eat unhealtly, eat cereal.
Eat cereal.
We encourage it. All right. So today's Monday, and what did I say as soon as I walked in? I said, "Oh dear God, it's Monday." Bah humbug. Yeah, apparently new study explains why we all hate Mondays. The study reveals that stress many people feel on Mondays is hardwired into our biology. The anxious Monday effect disrupts critical bodily systems. Well, researchers noted 23% of us have, in essence, a spike with regard to stress once Monday rolls around. Is that the case for you, or is it just me?
You know what? I was talking about that on my radio show about, I was like, happy Monday, everyone. Let's change the narrative about Mondays. Let's look at it from the positive perspective. It's a fresh opportunity for you to get your week started. You're above ground.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's true.
So instead of looking at Monday like bah humbug, look at it like, you know what? I'm alive. I'm healthy. I'm well. I may not like my job, but I'm gainfully employed in this climate. You know what I mean? You just got to find the silver lining for a Monday,
All right, let me sit up a little bit
Yeah,
more.
there you go.
Yeah,
Look at
thank
you. You look good. You got a nice suit on. You got a job, a #1 show. Listen, Monday's amazing.
All right. And that's because she said so.
Yeah.
Dang it, you could be my coach anytime.
There we go. I got you. Coach Autumn, to the rescue.
We'll end with this, and that is birthdays. When's your birthday?
January 26th. I'm
so
an Aquarius.
You are an Aquarius.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, apparently some Americans, okay, not just some, a lot of Americans are saying, you know what, if you forget my birthday, we have a real problem. Yeah. According to a newly released study, some 22% of Americans take their birthday extremely seriously. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There are particular, let's say, zodiac signs that get really offended. Any guesses?
I would probably say like Cancer, because they're so emotional.
Okay.
Maybe like Taurus.
Okay.
Maybe Sagittarius, because they just think they're the queens and kings of the world.
We'll stop right there because
Okay.
it's the last one. Sagittarius were the most likely to take their birthday extremely serious. Libras also on that list. And what is it now, Autumn? Do you know?
It's Leo season.
They also made the list, which, by the way, happy birthday, Mom. Today's her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
And as soon as I called, she said, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. My birthday started at 12 at midnight.
Yeah. What took you so long, Guy? 12:01, 11:59 and 59 seconds. You should have been texting your mom.
So do you agree with that? Are you the type of person that you get upset if somebody doesn't call you or hang out with you on your birthday?
No, you know what it is? For me, as I've gotten older, I've just learned to, whatever I want to do for my birthday or however I feel, I don't put that pressure on other people. Because when you're like, oh, you didn't call me, that's just the wrong energy. It's your day.
Yeah.
It's your time to do whatever it is that you want to do for your big day. But I think, Aquarius, we're very just kind of go with the flow.
Sure.
Just, we don't take a lot of stuff serious. So it could just be me. But yeah, no, I don't care. If you call me, you call me. If you don't, you don't. Whatever. I don't care. I really don't.
Oh, good, because I forgot your birthday.
Exactly. Well, that's fine, because I forget other people's birthdays, so I don't hold nothing against nobody else. So there's that.
Oh, gosh. Autumn Joy with our Monday Talkers right here in the Live Zone. Truly appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
I'll find you anytime when you're wandering the halls. We'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Let's talk football, shall we? And as I stated earlier, when it comes to football and it comes to Commanders, it's all things right here on Fox Local. Our Chad Ricardo been at Commanders training camp for the past weekend, 3 days, and actually joined us earlier at his show earlier right here on Fox Local. If you haven't already downloaded the app, we encourage you to do so. Speaking of sports, we brought in this guy. He's the real guru. Yeah, we're talking about an AP award-winning sports anchor. You know him, you love him. Yes, Zach Harns right here on the Live Zone. Good to have you in studio, my friend.
Guy, a pleasure. I know I've been doing it from home. It's nice to be in here. We were chatting about the layout in here.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't see it at home, but this is beautiful in here. Let me just tell you.
Hey, he's trying to be my best friend. Zach.
We want to get off to a good start, right?
Yeah. So the big story happens to surround Mr. Terry McLaurin.
Absolutely.
Obviously, wide receiver. Commanders love him. Fans love him. The question is, will he stay with the Commanders? Not sure if he actually loves the Commanders because they just can't seem to get this number right, Zach. What are you thinking about this?
Yeah, this is really tough, but this seems to be the way of the modern NFL now, Guy. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these very talented players rack up a career season the way that Terry McLaurin had. 13 touchdowns last year, absolutely Jaden Daniels' #1 targets, right? So he feels like he should be paid like it. Washington Commanders tend to disagree here. Terry is coming up on age 30, which is usually over the hill for wide receivers, which is hard to believe, but that is just the nature of the biz now. And with this team adding Deebo Samuel, they may think that they have enough deep threats now that they don't have to pay Terry the same amount. Now, McLaurin has been the Commanders' guy. Stand up in the locker room, outside of it. We're talking about a dude who has been the leading receiver for them every single year since he was drafted in 2019 in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. And now Terry feels like, hey, I did my work.
Yeah.
Where's the money at? From what we're hearing, Josh Harris and the Commanders right now are just going a little bit too low for where McLaurin was hoping, especially with the revitalized CBA.
Sure.
McLaurin is hoping that he can get a number much higher than that $15.5 million that they're looking at right now. Of course, there's the dilemma about age. There's the dilemma about adding in extra talent around him. But I personally think you have to make this deal if you're the Commanders. How can you not? This guy is uber talented, and on top of that has been an excellent veteran and also seems to be your wideout's #1 favorite target. So there are lots of floated things out there about trades. There's lots of floated things out there about maybe them coming up on a number right before the season starts. I lean towards that second thing. I think that overall they will get this deal done. It seems like it's part of the formula now of the NFL for these guys who are coming up on free agency. They say they're going to hold out, they request the trade, and then all of a sudden the two sides, they click together and come up with a magic number. I think that Josh Harris and McLaurin will come up with that number.
We have definitely seen this story before.
Yes,
That's for sure.
indeed. Yeah.
And by the way, prior to Jaden Daniels, he was the face of the Commanders.
Absolutely.
And so, to your point, I hope we keep him. I hope they work it out, and I hope, as they say, they can all get along.
Yeah, and Guy, honestly, I think he still is kind of the face of the franchise. I know that your quarterback is obviously paving the way. Rookie of the Year type campaign is very, very difficult to fight against in terms of being the face of the franchise. But this guy's given many, many years in a league where people are sent off after 2 or 3 or 4 seasons to a different squad simply because of disagreements in the locker room or just personnel changes.
Yeah, all right. Well, one thing's for sure, if you happen to be a Commanders fan, guess who you don't like? The Cowboys. But apparently, a current Cowboy seems to like the Commanders. Do tell.
Ooh, yeah, this is interesting. Micah Parsons. I mean, if he was traded within the division, I think the NFL world would just start to topple away. Rome would fall immediately. No, but Parsons is unequivocally one of the top 3 defensive ends in the league right now. You might throw T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett in there as a part of the conversation, but he is the youngest of the 3 of them. And because of that, Parsons entering the end of his rookie contract, looking for the max extension that he probably rightfully deserves, being such an impactful player on the defensive side of the ball. We know that Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys have a very different way of doing business. They say everything is bigger in Texas, apparently not the contracts. That is the case, at least thus far. But I do think that they will get this deal done with Micah Parsons the same way that Terry McLaurin is happening in Washington. I think it might just take a little bit longer.
Really?
Maybe even Parsons sits out a few games. That's last case scenario for Dallas. Right now, if you're a betting person at home, their season win total is set at 7.5. If he signs tomorrow, experts think that could go up to 8.5, even 9.5. That means that this man could be single-handedly responsible for 2 Cowboy wins next year, according to the experts. And I truly think that he is worth the big money that will hopefully be coming his way one day. But for right now, it seems like Jerry Jones and he are at an absolute impasse. And I think there is a world where he does get traded. That I don't think there's a world where Terry McLaurin does. And if he does, it would come with a very high price tag. But for Parsons, we're talking about maybe turning him into several first-round picks over time.
Well, as they say in Jerry Maguire, show me the money. In this case, they've yet to do just that. I'm curious, though, with regard to what we've seen in the past.
Sure.
When you have this back and forth between, let's say, a player and, in this case, ownership, how do you bury the hatchet? How do you move forward and say, you know what, we're teammates again, guys. I'm playing for you, and I want to win a championship.
Yeah, I think there's a level of professionalism from these guys, especially from Terry McLaurin, that we've seen. Cite some other examples, too, with Lamar Jackson a few seasons ago, tweeting that he wanted to be traded immediately before a media session. So, of course, the media got a hold of it, immediately started asking him about it. Lamar was paid. He's the face of the franchise for the Baltimore Ravens. There's no doubt about it. But when we talk about guys like Parsons, we talk about McLaurin, we talk about T. Higgins, right? Other guys that have to make their, sort of appeasement as not being the quarterback, right? I mean, those guys, they attract the biggest dollars because they have the hardest job on the field. But these other players who play arguably just as big of a role in it, now with this new CBA, it's starting to put the power back into the hands of these players, and I think they want to leverage that. And who could blame them at the same time, you know? I think if I was in a position like that, I can go out and get 16 sacks a year. I would like to get paid a 9-figure deal as well.
And
I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Maybe in a few years.
All right, enough of the attention being on the Cowboys. Who cares? In this case, we want to bring it back home to the Commanders. And earlier, late last week, we got word that one step closer, Zach, one step closer to the Commanders returning to Washington, D.C. at the site of RFK Stadium. You see, I just get giddy when I take a look at it right there. And yes, I know it's the old stadium, but pretty soon, fingers crossed, we're going to see a new stadium built just there. Can you talk about what it does, the resurgence of the energy, if you will, surrounding the Commanders coming back to D.C.?
Well, it puts the Washington Commanders, right, Guy? I mean, come on, we're bringing them back to the district. We're not out all the way over in Landover, which I think a lot of fans are kind of reluctant to drive out to, at least if they're from the immediate part of Washington, D.C. I do think also there's some logistics to consider here. One is that the stadium will actually be 10,000 fans smaller than FedEx Field. And granted, this was not the problem last year because the Commanders had quite an amazing season. But in years prior, Washington struggled to fill FedEx Field. it was often called a place where, visitor fans would show up in just as great, if not higher capacity than the hometown fans. Clearly now with this new energy around the team, the Magic Johnson and Josh Harris ownership, that is going to be a big reframe. But I think getting the team back to DC, doesn't it just make it more part of the district again?
Don't
I
you
feel
see me
like
smiling?
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans are really excited about this. There happened to be some, let's say, skepticism surrounding them actually returning to the nation's capital with obviously the DC Council. I believe the vote was 9-3, so 3 saying, you know what, not a good idea. Well, quite honestly, they went with the 9, and it's going to happen, all but official. And once it does happen, it's just the energy yet again to know that the Commanders are playing in Washington, D.C. My question is, Zach, I wonder if they're going to make the stadium so that the stands can bounce a little bit, just like it did back in the past at RFK. That would be cool.
I think that might be against code nowadays. but I'm not a construction guy, so who's to say? But what I do think is that having that stadium back, it's going to get a facelift, right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be totally revitalized. Obviously, you drive by it now, and it looks like it hasn't been used in 40 years because it really hasn't been. But ultimately, we talk about putting something like a fan-created culture together. I have a feeling fans will have a lot of input in this. We saw that Dan Snyder was very tight-lipped, right? Wanted everything a certain way. Fans kind of thought he got a number of things wrong, including the Sean Taylor Memorial statue as well, which is a terrible statue for an absolutely legendary player. Let's just be honest about it. But now I think with this new organization, maybe there's just more fun injected into the atmosphere. And I think now with this new team, you also get that too. So yeah, RFK, all for it. At the same time, wonder what it does for attendance. It would post maybe a lower attendance for DC, given that it's a smaller capacity.
Sure.
But I also think they would sell out every game. So yeah,
I can't wait to be there and watch the first touchdown. Speaking of touchdowns, he just scored one right here on the Live Zone. Zach Parnes, yes, he is an AP award-winning sports anchor, and he's kind enough to join us right here on the Live Zone. Hey, stick around because you're coming up on the Take It too, correct?
Correct indeed. You'll see me over on Fox 5.
So make sure you keep on watching. Zach, truly appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
All
Appreciate
right, guys, we'll take a quick break. On the flip side of that break, producer Chris joins us. Do you like it or not? He'll break it down next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. It just feels so weird having you on this. You need to be on this side.
We can switch that. Yeah, we'll do that later, actually. The first full week under our belt.
Yeah,
That's
congratulations, my
Thank
man.
you very much.
Do
Soft
you
launch.
like it or not?
Do you like it or not? 7:30 right here, Fox Local and streaming on YouTube. Kicking off our second week tonight. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah. So week one, I was on the show.
We got a special guest again joining us live.
I'm really excited about it. But I'm curious. I mean, you have put a lot of work into this, Chris.
Thank
and
you very much.
I mean, obviously, the first week you work out all the kinks and so forth and so on. And the folks, as they say, the streets are talking.
Streets are talking. Listen, one of the most fun aspects about this is getting to interact with our viewers. It opens up a whole new way to not only talk about these stories, but also to kind of get that instant feedback, because we have the Lion Zoom room where we push out that meeting ID, the link to the Zoom room, and you can join the show live, weigh in on all of the topics. One of the topics we're going to talk about tonight, and you're going to join me live on the show, so he's going to talk about this. I know Guy is a big fan of going to wineries on the weekend. I like going to breweries and wineries. A lot of times, and I know you know this, when you go there, they can feel a little bit like a playground. A lot of parents bring their children and kind of let them run wild, or they could just be sitting and playing very peacefully. A lot of breweries and wineries have kind of made themselves family friendly. They have areas dedicated to toys and kids being allowed to play, and whether it's picnic tables, etc. Now, though, that could be changing. A lot of breweries and wineries are starting to kind of roll that back due to safety reasons and customer complaints. So now some are banning children outright, some are banning them after certain times, and others are having adults-only hours. And I want to know, whether you're a parent or not, if you like it or not.
That's a good one. Man, you talk about a battle there.
I know. It's very easy to see both sides of this issue. I have been places where little kids may be running around and servers are carrying lots of glassware. And, you know, it can be tough watching out for everyone else's children when it's not really that server's job necessarily.
Especially when I've been drinking too, Chris.
Well, that's the other thing to add here in this equation is the presence of alcohol and how quickly that can go south if you've ever hung out with me. So tonight, 7:30, we're going to talk about it. We're going to drop that Zoom room link a little later. We'll post that QR code. We'll post the link, and you can tune in live right here on Fox Local or on our YouTube page. Jump in the comment section as well, because we read them every day. We read them.
It's really cool, guys. All right, speaking of loving things, I love all things Beyonce, by the way.
Okay, so Act 1, dance, electronic, house music, renaissance. Act 2, we had Cowboy Country. Yeah, Cowboy Carter. You know, she went a little more country with it type of a thing. And a lot of fans are already speculating about what Act 3, if it exists, will be. And the prevailing theory is that it'll be a rock album. This has been part of Beyonce's plan to kind of take back some musical genres, if you will. Today, Levi's dropped a new ad for Beyonce's collaboration on Levi's jeans. You see Beyonce riding in on a horse.
Yeah.
This is a several chapter series. The whole ad runs about 2 minutes, and it features some of the ads that Beyonce had done before, but kind of telling a story and butted together to you. Yeah, I did that on purpose because I just saw that shot. However, this story that they're kind of telling, which features like time stamps and different little Easter egg teases fans think are giving clues. They're talking about it on social media right now. They think Beyonce is giving us some clues about the eventual announcement of Act 3, when it could come and what it will be. And like I said, a lot of people think it will be a rock album. She arrives on a horse, and this ad ends with her leaving on a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's going to be awesome.
See her climbing on right there. The 4 different chapters. There was also a timestamp you might have seen there, 9:08 p.m. So it could be time that something could drop eventually. Her birthday is coming up in September.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. The tour has wrapped up, so you know.
Yeah.
It may be time for something new.
Come on, we all know it's going to be a rock album.
We all know it's going to be a rock album.
I just can't wait. And the producers, you know, it's just going to be so cool to see who she
collaborates with, kind of the history that, you know, because you know it's never just an album. It's also a lesson. It's a history lesson. I'm very excited to kind of see how this will play out, who, like you said, she'll collaborate with. And also, I'm just always so impressed at how the teams that she worked with are like a vault.
Yeah.
There are no leaks usually. Yeah. I know that there was an issue at her concert in Atlanta where some unreleased music got stolen, but we still haven't heard any, there haven't been any leaks or anything.
You're going to hear this first from me. I bet you, I think Lenny Kravitz is going to be on that album. I just got a feeling about it.
Okay, well, you just guaranteed then that my wife is going to want to go see if she goes on tour and see some special guests, because she is a big Lenny Kravitz fan. Let me just put it that way.
Well,
that would be fun. I'm really excited to kind of see how this all plays out.
Well, one thing we need to make sure is that you see Chris tonight. Yes, we call it Do You Like It or Not?
7:30.
Coming up at 7:30 right here on
Right
Fox
after the
Local.
OG, which you'll be able to catch him on as well.
All right, guys, that just about does it for us. On behalf of my producer, Emmy, I'm Guy Lambert. He's Chris. Watch him tonight at 7:30. This is The Live Zone. The Take coming up right now here on Fox 5.